Once Fin is trained and you've tested its responses, it's time to deploy it to your customers. We'll head to deploy, then chat, to decide how Fin behaves across your real-time messaging channels. The fastest way to get started is with simple deploy, so let's walk through it. First, we'll set the audience. You can keep Fin limited to logged-in users, or include leads, which are users that you've had conversations with but aren't logged in, and visitors who are brand new to your site. You can also use audience filters to roll Fin out gradually. For example, start with customers on your advanced plan in a single region, and that way you can monitor performance and tweak things before launching Fin more widely. And next, channels. Here's where you choose where Fin will appear. On your website via the Messenger, inside your iOS and Android apps, or over social channels like WhatsApp and SMS too. If you haven't set up these other channels yet, you'll find everything you need under Settings and Channels. Now, let's customize Fin's greeting. You can tailor this message to reflect your brand's tone of voice. The goal here is to encourage natural conversation, show customers that Fin can genuinely help, and reassure them that your team is just a click away if needed. And once a customer asks a question, Fin will try to help using the content and the guidance that you've already provided. And if you need to update that, you can jump back from here and make changes using this link here. If Fin resolves the issue, happy days. If not, the next step is deciding what happens next. If the customer selects talk to a person or otherwise states that they want human support, you can have Fin hand over. Or if you don't have a human team in place as of yet, you can choose to suggest additional resources and close the conversation instead. Just set here what Fin should say in that situation. But usually a blend of AI and human support works best. So with this option, Fin tries to help first, and if needed, passes to the inbox that you set here. And just below that, you're reminded that any guidance that you've set might also route some queries directly to your team before we even get to this point. And that if you want to route conversations to specific teams based on, say, what the conversation is about or the type of customer, then you'll need to set up a workflow to handle that. And we'll talk about how to do that in another lesson. You can also have Fin ask the customer to describe the problem in as much detail as possible while they wait for a teammate. This helps your teammates pick things up faster, and often that extra context gives Fin exactly what it needs to resolve the issue after all, without the need for human support. Now, let's set how Fin handles abandoned conversations. First, decide how long to wait before considering a chat inactive. For live chat, that's usually just a few minutes, especially if you have a high support volume. Here at Intercom, we have it set to 3. And next, define the scenarios where the conversation should auto-close. For example, if Fin has already provided a response before the customer becomes inactive, it's likely that they received the help that they needed and then they moved on. We call this a soft resolution. So we can close these so they don't inflate our support volume unnecessarily. But if Fin couldn't answer or no questions were really asked by the customer in the first place, you might prefer to follow up or close them when the inactivity timer runs down. The choice is yours. And here, put a friendly message to let the customer know you've closed the conversation, but that they can jump back in at any time. And finally, you can tell Fin when to send a customer satisfaction survey to the customer to rate its performance. CSAT surveys are a simple way to track how Fin is performing and where there's room to improve. And we only send them for Fin after it provides an answer. Select this option to send the survey when a customer clicks "That helped," or they otherwise responded positively to the answer that Finn provided. This is what we call a hard resolution. Click here if you want to send a survey if the customer went inactive after receiving an answer from Finn. This is a soft resolution because the customer received an answer, but they didn't confirm if they were happy or not. So there's a chance they might pop back into the conversation after you've closed it. So maybe you prefer not to send a CSAT survey yet in these cases, especially if your inactivity timer is a bit low, but the choice is yours. And here, you can prevent customers from changing their answer later to ensure accurate reporting. A few hours or a day is enough time to give customers time to consider their response. And that's everything. So let's hit set live. And there's Finn, live and available to our customers, ready to provide human quality real-time support.